Hi again. Nehemiah 8:10. Do not grieve. The joy of the Lord is your strength. This is a story about another dream I had probably about 20 years ago. And I called it, What if Jesus came to your street? So let's just reflect on that for a second. What if Jesus came to your street? What would you do? What would your neighbors do? How would you respond to him? Would you be excited? If he was walking by, would you follow him? Well, here is the dream as it occurred to me. So I live in a small town, and maybe 20,000 at the time. And I look out the front door in my dream, and there's Jesus walking up the sidewalk, heading uptown. And he's not just sauntering along; he's moving at a good 4 miles an hour. And all I had time to do was run out onto the front porch. I made sure it was him. There was no question. And I hollered over my shoulder as I bounded down the front steps to my family. We're talking, 5 kids and a wife. I hollered, "This is Jesus. We need to follow him." And by then I'm on my front sidewalk and rounding a corner and following after him. But he is not gathering any moss on his feet. He's down the street, probably 15 or 20 yards, 15 or 20 meters. And I noticed the neighbors across the street in the apartment house sitting out on the front porch. It was a nice enough day. And I hollered to him, "This is Jesus. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We need to follow him." I get this blank look from my neighbors. Well, I noticed in the parking strip in the little stretch of grass on the street next to the sidewalk, someone I went to high school with. I call her Suzette just for the sake of the story. There's little Suzette sitting on the parking strip. Jesus walked right past her. I said, "Suzette, this is Jesus. We need to follow him." She gives me this blank, deer in the headlights look. Well, she's a small enough person, I'm maybe 100 pounds. I scooped her up into my arms, and I'm booking down the sidewalk after Jesus. And he must have gotten four doors down the street ahead of me by now, and he turns into one of the sidewalks of the neighbors' homes. So I book him down there with Suzette, and I turn into the sidewalk, and I walk up to the front door. Well, the front door is wide open, right into the living room. So I carry her into the house and set her down, and there's Jesus in a sunken living room, probably about 8 feet down below the level where we're at. Safe enough, and there's a sofa down there. So I lower her down by her arms onto the sofa. And then I make my way to the stairwell down into the area where Jesus is. Well, there must have been 6 or 8 people down there. My friend is down there as well. And here's Jesus standing on the hearth in front of a fireplace. And no one's gathered around him. The room is decorated sweetly enough. There's knickknacks on the shelves. There's an aquarium. There's books, objects of interest. Well, I noticed everybody in the room is paying attention to these objects of interest. No one's paying any attention to Jesus. I said, "You guys, this is Jesus. We need to worship him." I get this blank look from everybody. It was like deer in the headlights. Like, what do you mean? I said, "Hey, I don't care what you're going to do. I'm going to worship him." And I got down on my hands and knees. There he was standing on the hearth. And I start kissing his feet. Well, I feel his hand on the top of my head, mopping my hair, just like you would a little child, just mopping my hair back and forth. And I'm worshiping him, kissing his feet, and I wake up out of this dream, and I can still, as I'm wake up for two seconds at least, I can feel his hand on my head, mopping my hair as I'm coming awake. That was the dream. So there was the title again. What if Jesus came to your street? What would you do? Well, I was given the opportunity to respond in a dream, and that's my story. So I had a couple of questions I thought I might leave with you. Look inside your own heart for your hunger and your thirst after righteousness. That's good. Now, if you don't see it, ask the Lord to give it to you. Remember, he said, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." So if you don't necessarily see anything or don't understand, just ask him, because he's there. He's there for you. He's there for each of us. So So go ahead and ask. And consider this too, if you will. If we're the family of God, then ought we not be paying attention not just to one another or not just to ourselves, but to the father of the family? Yes. So with that note, I leave you. I thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for listening, and peace be with you.